From Drakenseng, Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, Episode 34, The Templars Debate. The Values of Life and Death.
Maybe we shouldn't revive him then? So that'll make me king? Maybe I should just let the Oro die, huh? That sounds pretty evil.
What? Of course we should revive him! That hasn't changed, I just don't know how you could do it, how you could make that decision. I owe the Arl more than this.
Alistair's becoming really pissed. He's probably gonna rage quit the party. Let's try to persuade him. Tell him that I'm not really your enemy, Alistair. Cause I still wanna take advantage. I honestly did the best I could, Alistair.
Did you? I guess I really have no choice but to just accept that.
Yeah.
Just forget I brought it up. I'm the one being the ass here, right? Forget I said anything.
Yeah. Thank you, Alistair. You are the ass here, not me. Okay. Let's talk to him a little bit.
What do you need now? If you really have to, go ahead.
He got really pissed. Minus 35 disapproval. So he's probably gonna end up backstabbing me or something. He is really, very low. Yeah, minus 62 approval rating. Hostile. He's really hostile right now. So I did something to really piss him off. Just have to let him know.
Yes? Something you need? Yes? What's on your mind?
Nothing. Talk to Zevran, get to know my companions a little bit better.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Or did you want to leave the crows?
Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin after all is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
So you're simply bored. Let's say. Yeah, so you're simply bored?
I don't know that I would put it precisely that way. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
That sounds nice. So you had a big hard life, big deal. And that system works.
Of course. You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
You sound like you've been spoiled. You sound like you've been spoiled. It's time to put you back to reality.
I certainly hope so. I have earned the crows a great deal of money, and none of it has come easily. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
When you get the first chance to betray me. You think that would change? I would like you to be my eternal bodyguard.
Everything changes, my friend. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Mine is 11. So as you can see, I'm not exactly the best companion to have. pissing people off left and right.
Here I am.
But I'm trying to stick to my character, persona.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Do you actually enjoy being an assassin?
And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared, the authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses, even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
I disagree completely. No, actually, this sounds like a logical explanation, right? Yeah, you're probably right.
I often find myself the instrument of fate, ending these lives for one necessity or another. I console myself with the notion that most of them had it coming. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed, the pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands.
I enjoy violence, not really. Take no pleasure in killing, not really. I do. It's a big I know what you mean.
There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules, oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else?
I could use you as a prostitute. Because there's a funny dialogue right here. Handsome elf like you, I can think of a few things. Maybe I can turn him into a prostitute.
Really? I can picture you doing a few things yourself. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point, very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
Just gain some approval back, +6 approval. I guess you really like that one-liner.
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
I guess, tell me about your adventures.
My adventures? I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days?
You can certainly talk like you had adventures. I mean your time as a crow.
You mean you want to hear about the grueling training? Being locked in an oubliette for weeks at a time? The slavery? The festering injuries? Or are we seeking something more glamorous?
Less whining, more action. Something more glamorous. Yeah, something more glamorous.
Well, that should be easy enough, I think. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
Politics. That's what I do back in Orzammar. Meddling in politics? How?
How should I know? I got the impression it involved sex, but then I get that impression about most everything. Odd, really. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning.
Nice. Nice. So you're a womanizer, Zevran? That's good to know. A womanizing assassin. You used her, how horrible? Not exactly. And she didn't try to kill you. And did you kill her afterwards?
Yes, but not on purpose, actually. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
What a terrible waste.
Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The circle of magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around.
I think that's the perfect way to assassinate. Without actually having to lift your finger. Make it look like an accident. You got lucky.
I got stupid, in fact, and very lucky. It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
Seems a little cold. Was a wise lesson to learn. Yes, that's a very wise lesson to learn.
And one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say. But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
+4.
Alright, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
Why do I get the impression that he's trying to come on to me? Okay, Zevran.
Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
That sounds like fun.
Haha, you have rather macabre tastes, I see. I like that. Let's see, how about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Azrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts?
What? You killed a prince? I happen to be a dwarf noble, if you don't know.
Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Azrin was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocel from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Azrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells.
Why not simply arrest him? Sounds like what I would say, my character.
Prince Azrin was too powerful. Who could you send to arrest the man that wasn't either in his pocket or that didn't fear being assassinated first? Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part.
Sounds like a nice way. I would actually prefer that. Have assassins protect my... If I was king, I would like to have bodyguards, assassins. That sounds nice. What did you do?
My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history.
Not very glorious, if you ask me.
Nothing about this work is glorious. Quite the opposite. If I indulge in a little vice and have sex with whatever I fancy, it's mainly to make things more interesting. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
+1, not bad.
Alright, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
Try to get through knowing each of my companions quickly, so it'll pay off later.
Well, the only one that's really worth telling is the story of the mission right before I came to Ferelden. But No, I would rather not. I shouldn't have said anything.
Don't be a tease out of it.
Perhaps another day. I apologize.
You little bastard. -3?
Hmm. All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
What does it take to become an assassin? I guess I can ask him.
Well, the crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training, the sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is a desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field.
You did quite well, no doubt.
Within the crows, I did. But it has been something the crows have devoted a great deal of time to perfecting. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler.
That sounds like it could be useful. You always use poison then? Sounds like it could be useful.
See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we?
Can you teach others to be an assassin?
Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see.
You little bastard. And what have I ordered you to do it?
You would order me to betray my solemn oaths? What an unexpected turn of events. Sadly, the answer is still no. Come now, you don't need this training. You seem to be able to slay things simply by staring at them hard enough. If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows?
-5. I don't really care too much about the approval rating when I'm talking to them, since I can just bribe them with a few gifts.
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom, or so the saying goes.
And it has assassins.
Every land has its assassins. Some are simply more open about their business than others. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
Of course, my mother was better than any gem. That sounds like a jokester. Oh, you want to compare to being an idiot? I am from Orsmore, my glorious kingdom.
Ah, yes, the city of lava and stone. It too is beautiful, in its way. Sad that it will never see sunlight or smell the salt of the ocean, however. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
This I have to hear.
I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
Alright, so I just figured out what he likes. So if I find something made of leather, I might give it to him. There's a lot of Azorda's leather everywhere.
Ah, but it's not Antivan leather, is it? I do not know what the Antivan tanners do that is different, but there is no leather more supple nor more fragrant. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in the store window. Finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. Ah, but I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
Yeah, I was about to let it finish. The job being killing me, right?
Yes, and now here I am. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a handsome Grey Warden? A man who then spares my life? I could not.
Yes. Handsome?
Perhaps that was a poor choice of words. True, though it is. Do you object?
Of course not. I am pretty handsome, right?
And glad I am to hear it. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
+2.
Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss?
Never mind. I was just messing with you.
All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while...
Blah blah blah. Time to move on to someone else. This has been a while, so I think I'll save here. And then probably speak to my other companions, get to know them a little bit more.